Okay, let's try to do this problem on volume. Okay, tank A is filled with water until a height of 11 centimeters. Okay, this is tank A here. The water in tank A is then poured into two empty rectangular tanks B and C, such that the height of waters in all the tanks are equal in the end. So the water you take from here, you pour inside here, and you pour inside here until the water on all the three tanks, the level of the water is the same for all three tanks. Okay, so find the volume of water which is poured out of tank A. Okay, so firstly we need to find out basically what is the volume of water in this tank. Okay, so volume of water in tank A, okay, I'm going to shoot this up a little bit, okay, is simply length times breadth times height for volume. So the length here would be 12 centimeters times 10 centimeters times the height 11 centimeters, so we would have 1320 cubic centimeters. Okay, now if we want to find out for them to be the same height, can we combine this? If we know the surface area or the areas of all the three tanks, if we can combine all of them into, imagine that they're actually made into one giant tank. If we squeeze them all together to make them into one giant tank, something that looks like that. Okay, we squeeze all the tanks together, and then the water inside here has to be 1320 cubic centimeters, and then from here we would know the height. Okay, but we need to find out what is the total surface area, total area over here. Okay, so what we need to do is to find out the area of tank A plus the area of tank B plus the area of tank C, and then we will combine it as to make it into one area of this huge tank that we are trying to combine these three tanks into. Okay, so we find the area of tank A, it will be simply B, length times breadth, which will equals to be 12 times 10, 120 square centimeter, right? Then the area of tank B, okay, I'm just going to be lazy down here, it's also length times breadth, and in that case would be 10 times 7 equals to 70 square centimeters, and the area of tank C would be length times breadth also, which will be 6 times 5 equals to 30 square centimeters. Okay, so this giant tank down here would be actually the addition of all these areas. Okay, simply the addition of the three tanks together. So area of, I'll call it giant tank, okay, equals to the addition of all this 120. Okay, let's just erase this off, plus 70 plus 30, which would be equals to 220 square centimeters. Okay, so now we know that this whole area down here is equals to 220 square centimeters, and we know that the volume is 1320 cubic centimeters. So to find the height of the water here, the height down here would simply be volume divided by the area. Okay, because we know that volume is actually equals to length times breadth times height, because volume equals length times breadth times height. So if we have the volume here is 1320, okay, we know that length times breadth, which is actually the area, is 220. Okay, so we know that the height must be equals to 1320 divided by 220. So equals to, if you use your calculator, you find out that it's 6 centimeters. So that means to say that the height of the tank was, this giant tank here, is 6 centimeters. Alright, so the volume that was poured out of tank A would be, okay, now we need to find out what was the total volume of water in tank B and in tank C. Okay, so tank B and tank C, or rather we could just find out, okay, the other way around is that we find out the volume that was left in tank A, volume of water left in tank A, which would be this 6 centimeter height, right? Because now we know that they're all 6 centimeters. They will all be 6 centimeters. In tank A would be length times breadth times height. So the length for tank A would be again 12 times 10 times height, which would be 6 centimeters. Okay, this one we have to do it. Of course, we could actually just multiply by 5, which is okay, never mind, we'll just do it this way. So equals to 120 times 6, which should be 720 cubic centimeters. So originally there was 1320 square centimeters. So volume poured out of tank A would be equals to 1320 minus 720, which would be equals to 600 cubic centimeters. Okay, we're done.